Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Sunless Skies. So I spent some time thinking about this weekend, and I've decided that there are 6 things. I just held up... Boy, that's an embarrassing way to start the episode. And I guess I didn't have to tell you, but now I'm telling you. When I said 6, I held up fingers. Like, that's kind of a silly thing to do itself. But the really embarrassing part is that this is 7. I'm looking at them right now. This is 7 fingers. So, not a great start to our week. Number 1, thing that we want to do. We want to investigate the wreck of the boatman. I have some ideas on that front. We'll get to it. The number 2 thing I want to do, 2 of 6, we need to know more about what's going on in Warlbury. That's going to drive me crazy if I don't figure it out. So I think it is possible that our character's unquenchable need to know is maybe going to drive him to do some kind of dark, screwed up stuff. Thing number 3. I want to pursue the Dismal Chamberlain in the most serene mausoleum. I'm not exactly sure where that quest is going, but I do think it's very curious. And part of the reason that I think we can go for that is that, based on the description of what we needed to do to go further in that quest line, I'm thinking that it wants us to be associated with the Waste Waif in some way, right? That bit about the icy hand around your heart. And we can do that from Warlbury, right? The option, the thing we saw that we could do that had the Waste Waif associated with it was when we bumped into a shape in the mist over by Warlbury. So we're probably going to end up sailing around in that mist for a little while, trying to get that event to trigger. It might be a thing that can only happen when your terror is high, and that means probably we're going to get another visit from our friend, the Terrifying Eye, which I am so looking forward to. Thing number 4 that I want to do is complete the Regent's Grave event. We have to go back there on or later than August 1st, 1907, so a little bit of playtime left to go. And numbers 5 and 6 are a lot less about like our character's motivations and a little bit more metagame motivation, setting things up for the next character in our lineage. I want to put together the money for the Mullet class engine, and I want to get the Ratronaut from Mr. Menagerie. And I went back and I watched a bunch of bits of previous episodes, and I figured out what it's going to take to do that, and also about how much money we actually have. So right now we are holding 2,377 sovereigns. Oh, and a bunch of trade goods, so actually more than that. But I looked at all of the places that you can cash in stuff, like in the Silken Salon and in the Porphyry Font, and I figured out what we could spare, what we need to hold on to for the purposes of our ambition, and figured out that we actually have about 6,600 sovereigns worth of stuff that it looks like we can afford to trade in. So we're not very far at all from the Mullet class liner. Basically, I think what we're going to do here is we're going to try to get done all the stuff we need to do in Albion, and then cash out all the stuff that has to be cashed out in Albion before going back to the Reach to do the couple of things we have to do in the Reach, and then we'll come back here and finish this character's motivation. That's the thought. We'll see how things actually work out. So, at the Spitalfields Market, we are selling some things. We need to hold on to 3 crates of munitions for going to Port Prosper, so we can sell 2 of these. I don't think we have any use for tea right now. We used all the nectar we intend to use. We don't need to hold on to any of this stuff. Okay, so that's another 1725 right there. So yeah, we're good. Like, we can totally afford the engine next time we go back. We can just go ahead and bank the munitions. We don't need these right now. Is there any chance we're going to the Avid Horizon? Because if not, we could just sell this stuff, right? Alright, let's talk about number 1, the wreck of the boatman. Here's my plan for that. In the previous version of the Albion map, the wreck of the boatman was kind of near the Royal Society. It was nearer to the Royal Society than it was to anything else. So my plan is to scout the area around the Royal Society. That's pretty damn far from the Avid Horizon. I don't think we're going back there. I don't think we have any reason to go back to the Avid Horizon. So yeah, let's go ahead and sell these off. We're not going to fulfill that. hey, that's another 300 sovereigns. So yeah, Wreck of the Boatman over here, and then the next thing we need to do is go back to Worldbury. Unfortunately, that's not really a cool path to take there. We're just going to swing back through London. Alright, so is there anything else that we want to do before we leave London? Well, yeah, we probably want to go ahead and purchase ourselves some more fuel and supplies, fuel especially. I think that's it, though. Fireworks for Parliament, and the literature for the Clockwork Sun. We could have swung by the Clockwork... I should have looked at these first. We could have held on to that literature and swung by the Clockwork Sun to drop it off. And maybe we just want to take our 3 packs of crates to Parliament. I don't know that we're going to Parliament. You know what? We're just going to stick with it this way. So, yeah, let's go. Do we need to do anything with our bank? I know, it's a very slow starting episode. No, I think we could probably sell the Caged Catch and the selection of Immaculate Souls, but that's something we could do in New Winchester. So let's go. We want to go to somewhere near the Royal Society. And actually, the Royal Society is one of the places that we can cash in some stuff. In particular, our otherworldly artifacts are going there, so maybe we'll do that while we're there. So my plan right now is to, I guess I drew up the map. I pulled up the map to tell you, this is where I think we're going first. We're going to go through here, and then we're going to try to sweep around up behind this area. And we'll see if we can get in through here. We'll check up there. And if it turns out that the Wreck of the Boatman is not anywhere near the Royal Society, then I'm just going to be really bummed out. Just, very disappointed. But I have some hope here, and this will give us some time to acquire some terror. Oh, hey, we have a level up. This will give us some time to acquire some terror so that when we hit, when we go back to the Mists, we're more likely to be able to get the thing. So what do we want? We want even more mirrors and hearts. Somehow our iron ended up way higher than our hearts, you know? Being out in the sky for a while makes you do things. A secret symposium. In a midnight lecture hall, a cadre of masked experts gathered to present papers on a subject the Ministry had forbidden. You unlock this by having a lot of affiliation academic. Interesting, and it would reduce my nightmares. Well, maybe we want to hold off on that until we have nightmares. Also, Veils is not really our character's thing. Your club. This is also new, right? Yep, affiliation establishment. 2 or more. This will also reduce your nightmares. So I'm assuming there's one of these for each affiliation. You belong to one of London's illustrious private members' clubs. At this point, I suppose that could be true. We're fairly well liked in London, at least by some people. What about a narrow escape? Oh, we've had plenty of narrow escapes. You unlock this when you survived your locomotive being reduced to less than 10 hull. Okay, we did that a bunch. You walk through the valley of the shadow of death. How has it changed you? I believe it has emboldened us, and that's a fairly reasonable explanation for the extra iron. Do I want to do that instead of taking something that's going to give us mirrors, though? We don't really have a lot of options left for mirrors. Yeah, I'll take that. It has emboldened us, although perhaps it should not have. So we could change up our crew now a little bit. We can't change them now, though. But we have to be docked, I think, because we could pull off some of the points of iron. Oh well, it's not a big deal. So I think the plan here is I'm going to go to there and see if we can cut through. This would be information I'd like to have. I believe we get to pass on our chart to the next character, so it makes sense to fill it out as much as possible here. Also, wow, we really gained a lot of experience writing the 6th canto, because we're almost about to level up again. Ooh. I have a little bit of a sore throat, because I made tacos, and foolishly I made them too spicy, which I should have known not to do, because I am a huge baby. I am like a child's caricature of a baby when it comes to spicy food. But I love cumin so much. Actually, I'm not being 100% truthful, and I suppose that if you are here in, what is this, episode 26, 27 of the Sunless Skies series, if you have stuck with me through all of this, you deserve a little bit of an embarrassing look behind the curtain. The taco thing is true. I did make tacos and they were too spicy, and that did aggravate my sore throat. But the reason my throat was sore in the first place is a little bit of an embarrassing story. I went to the store to get the stuff for the tacos. And that involved me driving my car. Well, driving Elise's car. And... oh, who's this? Oh, it's a bad guy. Shoot him before he knows what's going on. Ah, jeez. These things are pretty dangerous. Like, they do a lot of damage. So I was driving the car, and probably most people do this. You're driving the car, you're listening to music, and you're in a place where you're by yourself, and you know you won't be interrupted, you know nobody can hear you. I was singing along to my music. And I was listening to some Tom Waits, but all that stuff is not that embarrassing, although of course it is good practice to be a little bit embarrassed about your singing in the car. You know, like if you pull up alongside someone at a stoplight, you stop singing for a moment and try to look like a normal person, and they do the same. And that, I guess, is the terrible dance that we call civilization, until the stoplight changes, and then, you know, as soon as you're away from each other, you both go back to singing. We could gain panes of stained glass here, or we could search the crew cabins for cool stuff. I like glass. Let's get some glass, maybe. Ooh, partial success. I'm worried about that. Yeah, the thing is, we have so many crew. Clad in your sky suits, you and several crew locate a wide section of glass contamination on the Dreadnought's underbelly. But as you gingerly pry it free, hairline fractures begin to spread across it. The hull groans and your crew panic, and I tell them to work faster? No, abandon the attempt to get everyone to safety. We're going to try to be like a decent person here. You retrieve some larger pieces, which might fetch a few sovereigns, gained a little terror. I mean, also, nameplates are important. We are short 1 moment of inspiration. Actually, we're kind of short 2. We are currently short 1 moment of inspiration for writing the 7th canto, but in addition to that, I would like to pick up the Ratronaut for... I don't even know if I got through that list of things I was saying. We got to get the Mullet class engine, and I wanted to get the Ratronaut from Mr. Menagerie, and that requires 1 moment of inspiration. I won't be heartbroken if we don't get the Ratronaut, and I don't think the new character will be able to use it right away anyway, because it does require 75 mirrors to use, but it is something I would like to pick up, so if we could find our way to having 3 moments of inspiration, that would be convenient, and charred stovepipe nameplates are definitely going to be a part of that. Anyway, so I was singing along in the car, and that's, you know, that's what it is. That's not so embarrassing. The embarrassing thing is that when I sing along to Tom Waits songs, I do a voice. It doesn't feel right to sing along to someone's songs without trying to match their voice as much as I possibly can, and I hurt my throat Tom Waitsing too hard. That's how I made my throat sore today. I know everybody in the audience, everybody out there is asking the same question right now. How's the impression? Is it good? Is it a good one? And you know what? Honestly, yes, it's a great impression of Dr. Teeth trying to sing a Tom Waits song. I have recorded it and listened to it, and it's not really all that Tom Waitsy. But the good news is, it really is. It's like a movie quality Dr. Teeth impression. So Muppet people, if you need a voice actor, if the old Dr. Teeth guy quits or something, you know, you got my number. I keep obsessively sending it to you in fan mail. Alright, that could be the wreck of the boatman up there. Maybe. Nope, it's one of these. Well, let's, so like I said, I think it's possible that bumping into something in the mist encounter only happens if your terror is high. Perhaps against my better judgment, we're going to go ahead and let our terror build up a little bit. It is worth noting that we're talking about retiring this character soon. Probably not this episode, but like very, very possibly next episode. And we haven't at all seen what the nightmare mechanic is, and we can probably afford to take some chances at this point. Let's attempt to break open a coffin. Alright, we found one of the cool ones. After several silent minutes, stood at the window watching coffins drift by, a keen-eyed signaler cries out, a flash of silver. You hurry to the footplate, coal shovel in hand, to hook the coffin as it passes. We've read this before. We found a thing, the crest is the universities, we got ourselves a condemned experiment. That's a pretty handy thing to have, because that's like 300 sovereigns, I think. I wonder if that's the wreck of the boatman. I'm pretty sure it was... So the Royal Society was up here on the previous map, and the wreck of the boatman was like over there, I think. I'm pretty sure it was closer to the Royal Society than it was to anything else. We don't know for sure that means that they would have kept that arrangement in the new map. It's just I don't have any other idea where to look. This is a little awkward to get to. Whatever it is that our Cavi has found out here. Oh, nope, it's one of these abandoned, It's this one. Yep, a decaying structure. Okay, well, let's get away from the Clockwork Sun because it is a true horror. Okay, that space that we were definitely in already. I am confident that that is not the wreck of the boatman. We have seen that spot. Alright, let's try to swoop up behind the Royal Society, and hopefully it'll be over here somewhere. I kind of hate to do this, but if we can't figure out where it is in a reasonable amount of time in this episode, I might just give up on it for now and actually go, like, look at a map of Albion online. I don't feel as bad doing that as I would about, like, looking at one of the maps of the areas we haven't been to, because we had pretty thoroughly explored Albion before. Like, this wouldn't be a problem if we had started the game a little bit later. Okay, well that's a conspicuously positioned something. I guess let's go check that out. I do not like how the light changes out here. What was that sound? I'm such a big nervous baby. Got ourselves some hours. Well, we're in that area that's supposed to be like a spooky maze. I do not know what that noise is. Am I going to end up having to go out here? Do they sell both fuel and... Okay, they do. So we don't have to be too worried about running out of stuff. Oh, this looks promising. You know what that sound is? That sound is like the Scribe Spinster projectile, isn't it? Alright, this is where he was pointed. What is happening here? A black hulk in the mist. Oh, the boat. This is the boatman. They changed what it looks like. It's a long way from its old route. Okay, well, we are in good position to do this thing now. So we remember this. We have entered the wreck of the boatman. Trespassers. Yes, it's a spooky haunted train. So I'm gonna have to investigate things all over again, huh? Okay, it looks like the text is not new. We investigate the engine room. Investigate the captain's cabin, and then I think at this point we can still hear weeping somewhere far away. Yep, at this point we are given the option of breaching the hold. Alright, this is the obvious next step. We've read enough penny dreadfuls in our time to locate the source of the trouble. Oh, wow. We've breached the hold. I said, oh wow, because I saw 15, and I was like, we gained 15 terror, because I apparently had already forgotten what this button was going to do, what we knew for a fact it was going to do. You've heard the stories sky captains tell each other in warm inns when the fire is low and the winds are howling. You've seen things that would freeze the hearts of lesser captains. The door to the hold is secure against everything but your determination. And this crowbar. That's that's good. Behind the wreckage you find a row of coffins like blackened teeth. There is a sudden muffled banging, as if something is knocking on the underside of a lid. I am definitely curious to open the coffins, but we're certainly going to look around first. There are signs of a fight. You move through the hold, which is as large as a wealthy family's mausoleum, casting your light before you. Shadows flee, revealing chains holding some of the coffins closed, scuff marks on the floor, a few shreds of black and silver cloth. An insistent scratching comes from a coffin, knocking from another. Your signaler startles and stumbles, falling face first onto a coffin, which rocks angrily. The lid slides off to reveal the boatman's captain, gagged, bound, and still very much alive. Footsteps approach, slowly, as though dragged. Your stoker shrieks. Figures appear at the hold door, mantled in shadow. Man, the Blue Kingdom. I get some real questions about what goes on in the Blue Kingdom and what goes on with people being taken to the Blue Kingdom. But I don't know if I actually said this explicitly. We will not be going to Eleutheria or the Blue Kingdom with this character because when we start the new character, I think what's going to happen is it's going to reset all of the quest progress and all of the areas. Right, like it will be as though we are playing a new game. It's just we'll get to keep a bunch of our stuff. So I want Eleutheria and the Blue Kingdom to be totally untouched so that when we get there, it's all new. We're not redoing anything. And we're going to redo as little as possible in the Reach and Albion. We're just going to go for the new stuff right away. All right. Look at the figures. Who are they? What do they want? You raise your torch, illuminating the figures in the door. This provokes shrieks from your crew. Sallow-skinned, hollow-eyed, decaying corpses are blocking your escape. Bloody rib cages, broken skulls, exposed bone, and sloughing flesh. Cadavers. Well, what good are weapons against the Walking Dead? We have killed things that are so much scarier than this. But I don't necessarily, like... Maybe I'm being silly here, but I don't think it's true that they cannot mean well. Let's pray a moment. Let's not shoot them for a moment. But this doesn't say shoot them, it says reach for your weapon. Yeah, okay, get the weapon in hand. You reach for your pistol. The cadavers take a step back. Please, the nearest rasps, a tall, tattered man in a stoker's uniform. I'm not sure these bodies could survive any more damage. Okay, yeah, see, that's what I thought. In the eerie light of your torch, you can make out moldering corpses. They stand in the doorway, silent as the grave. All right, well, let's have a nice chat with them. The leader extends one bony hand, its limbs shaking from the weight of yet unsloughed flesh. Well, I do believe that it would be a good idea to introduce ourselves. Or we could just go full Scooby-Doo on them, I guess. Enough of this farce. No, we're going to introduce ourselves. I'm going to do this stranger the favor of assuming that their face is their real face, and I think that's a good rule for life. The corpse nods stiffly. Its fingers close around your own. There's an uncomfortable moment where you almost leave with more fingers than you started with, but eventually, and with many a courteous excuse me, you extract yourselves. We're glad you didn't run away, the skeleton says. We've met the dead that walk the boatman. Listen, I'm very pro-skeleton. I would say unusually so. The deceased stoker sends another corpse to fetch brandy for your crew. The captain, he says mournfully, had a habit. What the brandy lacks in quality, it makes up for in potency. Now, the stoker says when the last of the glasses have been handed out, I think an explanation is required. Okay, yeah. I'm with you. Let's have a chat. Articulate for a dead man. I should apologize, he says. We've not had any visitors since the mutiny. Couldn't predict how you'd react. Driving you off of the haunting seemed safest. Almost had you, a decaying lady cackles. The fruit in her hat has fused with the exposed parts of her cranium. The stoker clears his crumbling throat. While our bodies were being transported, the captain steered us through a carelessness in time. Things have gotten tangled, you see. As far as our minds are concerned, we haven't died, but our bodies beg to differ, vociferously. The last thing I remember was from when I was alive, is saying farewell to my husband, then heading to the station. He looks down at the captain in her coffin. Oh, she's getting agitated again. We've been very decent, considering they tried to throw us into the incinerator the moment we climbed out of our boxes. Anyway, we thought we might face the same treatment elsewhere, so we set out into the wild. But here we are, stuck without fuel. We'd appreciate help. Oh, I mean, we have some fuel we could give them. I don't think their train's in working order anymore, though. The boatman was the victim of an unfortunate accident. It is now crewed and captained by dead who were jolted awake by the collision with loose oars. The engine is out of fuel and supplies. Its living are trapped in coffins. Its dead are torn between returning to London and seeking a new home. Theirs is not an eternal rest, but rather an unhappy intermission. Well... So, we could speak with the happy dead, the unhappy dead, or the living. Before we make any agreements, let's just have a little chat with everybody. The deceased stoker leads a group of corpses eager to be off among the stars. The stoker adjusts his jaw to make his speech more intelligible. Damnable thing, really. Last thing I remember from life before this is wishing him goodbye. A sigh rattles through his skull. I wouldn't want him to see me like this. He gestures to the assemblage of cadavers behind him. It's the same for all of us. No idea what we'd go back to, or who, or if we'd even be allowed. Better to have a fresh start. Yeah, I can see that. Alright, what about the others? The behatted chaperone speaks, or rasps, on their behalf. I had a nice tea shop in London. Opened it with my birdie. We've had word of a new strain coming in from Eleutheria. Last I know, I was on my way to the station to pick it up. She pauses to pluck a wax peach out from the fracture in her skull. All this, she gestures at her skeletal form, is just an inconvenience. Coming back is an opportunity, and one I'd be a fool to miss. I'm not the only one who feels this way. Well, I mean, I think we could just do both, right? Like, we could drop off the ones that want to go back to London in London, and, like, good luck to them. I have a feeling that Her Eternal Majesty is not going to be super understanding there. And then we could take the others wherever they want to go. Okay, what about the living? The captain and crew are restrained in coffins. Their mouths are stained with the residue of corned beef, which the dead have been feeding them. Yeah, I've never actually had corned beef. It's hard for me to want to eat something that's described as corned. The moment you remove the gag from the captain's mouth, she bursts into speech. Get us out of here! They closed the coffin lids on us! I cannot bear another second! She pauses to regain a degree of self-control. I know, we were a bit hasty, popping them in the incinerator. But it was horrible! Coffins busting open, shrieking bodies, wondering where their tea was or why they couldn't see. She shudders. But please, this is a nightmare! Okay, well, yeah, I'm with them on that too. So the behatted chaperone is making pointed remarks about the contents of the deceased stoker's skull. The happy dead won't leave until they have the engine to themselves. Alright, well... I guess let's take the living and the grumbling dead back to London. Am I going to have to make multiple trips if I want to do this? Let's start with the living, because the dead will probably be okay here for longer, right? The living are going to have to, like, eat and stuff. The corned beef's going to run out eventually. You haul the captain out of her coffin. The dead keep their distance, perhaps sensing their help is unlikely to be appreciated. Bloody savior you are, the captain whispers. Come on, lads, all aboard the captain's train. We'll sort out what we're going to say to the line manager on the way back. The crew of the boatmen leave their train for yours. Your quartermaster can arrange the details of their crossing and provisioning. Okay, can we also take the grumbling dead? The chaperone gasps. You would? Oh, I can smell my old tea shop already. Her voice gives out, but she conveys her feelings via a sudden, crushing embrace. Bones crack before she releases you. Fortunately, only hers, I was about to say. Your quartermaster can arrange the details of their trip back. Your quartermaster's expression suggests that they did not appreciate the reminder that the new passengers won't require supplies. Okay, so we've gained some terror, we got a bunch of dead people, and also a whole lot of living people on the train all at once. Okay, so if we speak to the happy dead now, I'm assuming nothing will happen. Yeah. We're going to have to come back once we've dealt with all the other stuff. Alright, well, time to get underway then. The stoker waves. Your visit was well timed. We were running out of corned beef. Without our guests, we can burn the spare coffins. That'll get us far enough to refuel. Okay. That train's gonna run? Okay, listen, they know what they're doing, probably. So... It looks like there's space here. I think we might actually be able to get through there. That would be best for us. There's also... Hold on. There's something lootable this way. Oh, it's a different train. The Greensboro. A little bit less legendary, this one. Well, we could just mourn the dead. We could signal the wreck. We certainly don't need. I guess let's mourn the dead. We have a lot of terror. I know I said we wanted to have a bunch, but I think we may be ending up too high. So they're going to burn the coffins. That's going to get them far enough to refuel. I wonder if we're actually done with this plot. Okay, so we want to try to stick to the left side here. It would be cool. I guess, do I want to go back to the Royal Society? I have to go back to London. I mean, I'd like to go back to the Royal Society and get a port report at least, right? And we can pick up some more fuel and supplies. So we'll head back to London on our way to Worldbury, and we will go back to the Most Serene Mausoleum. Oh wait, hold on. We aren't supposed to go right back to Worldbury. We were supposed to do something for the cult. What was that? We have so many things. Sect of psalmists. Oh, geez. We have so many people on our train. Here we go. Conspiring with the cult. Take leaflets to the avid horizon. I forgot. Okay, well. It doesn't make much sense to try to go from here to the avid horizon. I guess we'll just go back to... We'll get the... we'll go to the Royal Society. We'll get the fuel and supplies and stuff. Then we'll head back to London, and then we'll figure more stuff out from there. Man, I don't want to go back to the avid horizon. It does sound like we're hearing just like a couple of the sound effects involved in some combat around here somewhere. And we might want to try to lose some terror before going back to the avid horizon, because there's no way to get there that isn't going to gain us a whole lot of terror. Oh, attacking it. Oh, nope, guests. Right, of course it is. You know what? I don't want to deal with that. We're just going to dock and then hang out here for a little while and hope that they get bored and go away. Alright, so here we are... Were we volunteering with a professor? Yeah, let's go ahead and volunteer as a lab assistant. Okay, we shed quite a bit of terror there. Alright. So we helped out, sort of. What do you have? You have a whole lot of panes of glass. I'll take them. May as well. 110 each, and then they sell for 135, right? Let's get ourselves some of these and some of those. Do I want to buy some munitions? Because we didn't actually take on that other munitions prospect, but there was a munitions prospect for another 3 crates. You know what? We'll just go ahead and buy these at the normal market rate. I think that's fine. Then we're going to go to someplace and write a port report. And then, I don't remember... Well, hold on. First of all, we can go ahead to the Rochester Club and accept defeat. Oh no, I have been soundly thrashed. Do I want to drop off the driver? If we were to change off of the driver, we would lose 10 iron. Which would pull us down to 51. Which is fine. Right? Am I doing... Yeah, I'm doing that math, right? So let's switch off of the driver. Get the rats back in charge. Yep, and we are still able to actually use all the parts of our locomotive. Let's go ahead and drop the driver off. We probably are not going to be able to do a race. Driver will leave your engine. As long as they're not out racing, you can pick them up again. Maybe they'll make us a little bit of money, because I think we're coming back to the boatman, right? Maybe. I don't know. I have a feeling that we're not quite done with that plot yet. Alright. Thanks again, Archivist. You won't regret it, probably. They disappear into the smoky confines of the Rochester Club. If you listen carefully, you can hear the boasting already. Alright. I should place a bet, right? They're very good at driving, especially now. Yeah, sure. They're sure to be victorious. Lord Rochester takes your sovereigns with a wink. I've heard a lot of tall talk about your driver's capabilities. Let's see if there's any truth in it. The driver steps into their borrowed locomotive emblazoned with the colors of one of the retired racers of the club. They give you a last wave before the door shuts and steam pours from the engine. The flag falls. They are away. The race is on. It's going to take a month for them. Man, we ran that in way less than a month. Alright. Is there anything else that we really need to do here? We still, I think, don't really have a use for the arsenal. Yeah, I think we're good. Do we want to sell stuff off while we're here? Do I think we're coming back? Let's see. We need to hold on to a Searing Enigma, but we do have 2. We also... What else can I trade in here? We can trade in Condemned Experiments, which we want to save 1 of, because we need it for the Ratronaut. So yeah, let's start cashing this stuff in. We're going to have to cash in like an awful lot of otherworldly artifacts. And I have 1 Uncanny Specimen. It is almost certainly not worth trading in. Alright, let's go ahead and commit... How many of these do we have? Yeah, let's go ahead and commit 3 of these. The mellifluous president's smile fades. Oh dear, he says. You did the right thing bringing this here. He shakes his head. We will put it in a private gallery where only those with appropriate qualifications will be exposed to it. You know what, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, because we still have quests that we're going to do, and we might need... Yeah, okay, hold on. As inconvenient as it would be to come back here, we might need this stuff for the quests that we have yet to do. Alright, unfortunately, we didn't stay here long enough for that thing to... Oh, no, never mind. It has, just this moment, wandered off. I don't think there's a lot of value in fighting it. I think we should just leave. So we'll head back to London. We'll drop off some of our many passengers. Some of whom have been on the train for, at this point, quite a while. And then we'll try to go to Whorlbury next, I guess. No, we gotta go to the Avid Horizon next. I'm so very not eager to do this. What is getting vision of me here? Did I turn off the light? Oh, it's just one of these. That's not gonna hit. Well, look, he's stuck on the wall. We should take advantage. Yeah, I'm finding that a lot of the time I want to just take the damage from firing while overheated, because it buys me so much extra damage. We are unlikely to get trade goods back. Gain hull and terror. I guess let's go for the trade goods, because we don't really need hull that badly. Not super likely to work. Yep, it sure didn't. The glass has been removed from the windows on the bridge. The crew wore goggles, several layers of clothes, and thick gloves to allow them to operate the locomotive despite the gusting cold. You find the glass, stained with vibrant colors to ward against the maddening starlight, wrapped in tarpaulin at the back of the hold. The crew must have removed it willingly. Well, that's very strange. Alright. So we pretty much just want to go this way, straight, for quite some time, until we can't go this way anymore. Would it be worth it to stop off anywhere else? No, not really. And I suspect we're not going to find a whole lot of trouble in between here and London. We are not very far at all from gaining another facet. So I'm trying to remember exactly, this is something I did not look at the footage on. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was that happened when we lost our previous character. Our new character started with, I think you keep the locomotive and everything in the bank? Oh boy, okay, here we go. Unsettled Dreams. We have no new options. I suppose what we should do here is just seek company. Like, I don't want to go mad just yet. And we're pretty good at finding comfort in the presence of other humans. Something that I myself am not super great at. On your way to the galley, you round up as many crew and officers as you can, and we just get real drunk. Okay. Not the good result, but it's a result. Yeah, so I think you keep everything in your bank, but I don't remember if you keep all your money or not. I suppose it doesn't much matter. Ooh, should we jump that? Out here by himself, and we're on our way back to a place where we can repair. I think we're gonna get real close and jump him. Because we need nameplates pretty badly. The inability to dodge while overheated sucks so much. I should maybe even, like, in a situation like that, it might have been worthwhile for me to fire a weapon just to break the overheat so that we could then dodge. Oh, Jesus. It was a good shot except for the distance. Okay. Let's raid the hold. We certainly don't need supplies. A sheaf of papers. Okay, a permit and some more nameplate. So if we were to rely on just nameplate trade-ins in order to get our moment of inspiration, we're looking at 12 nameplates in order to get just our aspiration done, and 24 nameplates in order to get that and also the Ratronaut. But I think we got a moment of inspiration from killing a Dreadnought at one point, didn't we? So it's possible we could get lucky and short-circuit this a little bit. God, I hope so. But basically, my point with the money is, I think it probably doesn't benefit us a lot to hold on to a ton of cash. I think we get to pass down our charts. I don't remember if the crew passes down or if we're going to have to recollect officers. We've probably seen you know what? It'd be like we've probably seen most of them, but we really only have seen half of the game at this point, right? So who knows? Maybe there are other officers out there. Maybe there are officers you can only get in Eleutheria or the Blue Kingdom. I guess it's going to be easy enough to regain terror. Let's drop this now so that we don't have any freakouts, any inconvenient freakouts before we're ready to have high terror. And who knows, maybe we'll get out there in the mists with low terror and discover that that event is not terror-bound at all. Okay, here I definitely don't want to attack. We did take way more hull damage than I would have liked fighting that Dreadnought. It probably is the case that if I end up overheated in a situation like that, I should just fire the weapon even if it's not going to hit anything so that we regain the ability to dodge. I do not know if it's always the same amount of damage that you take when firing a weapon while overheated, or if it's related to the amount of heat that the weapon produces or something. It may be the case that firing our shotgun is going to damage us less than firing the mangonel. It would be inconvenient to check, and there's no reason not to do it, so I guess that's what I'll try to do in those situations. Oh. No sooner have you pulled into the sidings than a long-faced man in a battered coat approaches your locomotive and asks for a moment of your time, because we have affiliation villainy at 3 because of the rats. Okay, well, let's hear him out. He fiddles with the bent brim of his hat as you approach, his face as solemn as a basset hound. His voice is nasal, his eyes grey. I will not wish you a good day. You are a person of intelligence, and the day is manifestly miserable. I myself am newly affected by the gout, which has made my mornings a parade of wretchedness. No doubt you have your own misfortunes, into which I will not pry. Instead, let us move to the happier subject of business. I have heard amenable things about you from several mutual acquaintances. My employer may have work for you. Profitable work, but perilous and profoundly illegal. Should you be interested, seek me at the Admiral Benbow Inn here in London. With that, he takes his leave, tutting at the thickness of the fog before he dons his crooked hat and vanishes into the crowd. Okay, that's interesting. We'll check out the Admiral Benbow Inn. But first, let's fix our train, which is not cheap. And then let's turn in my one port report, which will pay for most of the repairs. Okay. Now I suppose let's do that thing. Let us deposit the dead first. Home at long last. Your crew will be pleased to have them off the train. All in all, your navigator admits they've not been bad passengers, despite their insistence on joining the crew for meals, watching enviously, and, in one regrettable instance, dropping a jawbone into the stew. Well, I mean, that's just flavoring is what that is. The beheaded chaperone sees her charges off the engine with efficiency and tenderness. Her charges slowly disappear into the teeming smog of London. When the last is gone, she turns to you. Would you come with me? I'm not sure how my husband will take my return. I think our character would be too curious how this is going to go to decline this offer. She rubs her skull. In case you can't tell, Captain, I am smiling. She leads you through crowded thoroughfares to a quiet street just behind St. Dominic's. There, a little tea shop is waiting. Her husband sits inside. While tea for 3 steeps, he weeps. When he eventually composes himself, you are repaid for her return with tea as well as coin. The dead have passed on to resume their lives in London. Wow, that was a lot of money. You know, it's kind of a weird situation, but I would be overjoyed in his position. Alright, let's have a chat with this gloomy middleman. He conducts business in a smoky corner of the Admiral Benbow Inn, down in the smoggy lower levels of the city. The middleman is nursing the same glass of beer he began the evening with. Ah, Archivist. To claim it is a good evening would be duplicitous, but it is at least an evening, and here you are in it. He waits until you sit. My employer can open a profitable door for you. There are goods that Her Majesty's government do not want to see bought or sold. Prohibition begets scarcity. Scarcity begets profit. One example of this contraband is red honey, gathered by the Midnight Rose at Titania. Unfortunately, supplies have dried up. Prove your value, find out why, and fix the problem. Okay. Red honey. I was definitely told something about this in the comments of a previous episode, but I don't exactly remember. Okay, well, I don't think we have a lot else of import to do here. Let us go to the bazaar. So the munitions want to go to the floating parliament. That's out of our way. We could just sell the munitions back, right? Like, at exactly what we paid for them. Yeah, no money lost at all. I don't really want to go to the floating parliament. I guess there's no sense in selling them right now. Bank space seems to be infinite. Let's just throw these on the pile. Probably don't need all this tea. I guess that's true for for all of this stuff. We could just bank it eternally. Yeah, we'll just bank it for right now. Because who knows, we might see a prospect for it. We actually definitely have a use for the hours. And I'm not desperate for immediate money in this circumstance, not anymore. So then I think we are good to just move on. We are moving on to the Avid Horizon. Didn't lose as much terror for hitting London as I would hope. I think probably what happened there is that we just, we've been here too recently. We don't know what well this is, right? Let's go down there. Because the repentant devil wanted to go to the Well of the Wolf, didn't he? That could be the Well of the Wolf. I guess let's go have a look. Let's go have a look. So we'll head down this way. I'm definitely worried that I'm going to push our terror too far now that I'm actually looking at how advanced our meter is already. Am I going the right way? Yes, I'm going the right way. Just wouldn't be a voyage with SB if we didn't stop to check the map every 15 seconds the entire way there. Yeah, we still, like, we don't know what happens if the meter fills up all the way. It could be really bad, I guess. It's entirely possible. It could be that it, like, forces a nightmare on you and then you lose a bunch of terror. I am very curious about the nightmares. Oh, gunfire. Grave robbers fighting with dreadnoughts, maybe? Would be pretty good for us. Yeah. I think it's south? Yep. It is not a grave robber, but it is a dreadnought fighting a thing. Oh, backing up as hard as I can. Must you? Oh wow, he killed it. Or possibly it mostly killed itself. Please don't ram me. Okay, here we go. We can scavenge it for parts. I'm going to try to gain trade goods again. Well, once again a failure that leads to us only gaining 1 pane of stained glass, which is still actually a pretty good reward. And we could jump this juggernaut, but I'm wondering if, like, we're headed to a place where I'm not sure we'll be safe. And I'm wondering if maybe I want to just avoid taking a bunch of damage. Maybe we killed some juggernauts on the way back or something. I do hear more combat ahead. Or maybe not ahead. It sounds like it's more to the east this time. I'm not going to veer off course for it. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it is over here. Yeah, actually. Well, he's probably somewhat wounded already, right? Ah, I was hoping I'd be able to slip past that. Okay, well, I think I took a single point of hull damage there. Let's loot the hold. A marked box. Fragile contents do not shake, upend, or discommode. Another pane of stained glass. Oh, still combat going on, huh? Wait, are we seeing... Was I misremembering where the well was? I mean, yes, I must be. Well, it turns out you can safely get a lot closer to it than I thought. Ow. Alright, asshole. Oh, we showed him. Let's break into the captain's cabin. Get ourselves some hours and then try to avoid the wild firing coming from this dreadnought. It's not actually attacking me, is it? No, it's firing at something else in there, or I can't tell. I'm going to prepare myself to bolt. Okay, can't tell. It really is pursuing me. What are you fighting with? Oh, a dreadnought that's almost dead. Hopefully it doesn't realize what I was trying to do there. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect, that's perfect. Grave Robber kills the one dreadnought, the other dreadnought kills him. A grim foreboding. Yeah. Alright, definitely check the navigation suite. And discover another permit and a stovepipe nameplate. Pretty good. Nope, that's the wrong way, that's the wrong way. Just completely dodged the wrong way. Oh dear. Okay. We leveled up through combat. Let's just go ahead and strip it for parts. Alright, now let's head back in the direction of that well. I guess we should take this. A thief oath. No, we want to preserve the ability to reduce our nightmares, just in case. Pestilence. Since arriving in the heavens through the avid horizon, you've contracted an unlikely illness. You are turning, imperceptibly slowly, into glass. I don't think so, because we were so surprised by that glass thing before. I don't think that makes a lot of sense for us. Wait a minute. This gives you a moment of inspiration. Well, alright. You would not let your education go to waste. You poured years of sleepless nights, setbacks, and research into one great work. I guess that's what we're doing. They called you brilliant, eccentric, and obsessive. They said it was a waste of time. They said it was impossible. You proved them wrong. What were the fruits of your labor? Okay, so ordinarily we don't take things that give us bonus veils, because veils is not really our character's thing, but we wrote a thing critical of the people who are trying to keep us from acquiring knowledge is very much in our character's, like, that's in our character, right? And concealed within its 3 comprehensive and erudite volumes, which are approvingly stamped by the Ministry of Public Decency, is an encrypted but spirited call to revolution. Yo, that sounds so much like our character. Okay, well, we just got the moment of inspiration necessary to complete the game, which means that the one we get for turning in these nameplates can be used to acquire a Ratronaut that we may have to just put in the bank. Alright, I'm going to try to skirt the edge of the well here. We're going to get... Oh, geez. We're actually way closer to the center than I thought. Am I going to get the option to interact with it? I guess not. Maybe this is not, in fact, the Well of the Wolf. Maybe this is just a big, scary storm. That other well he wanted to go to was a big storm that looked like this, though, wasn't it? Alright, so this lets us off over by the sea. I think we actually may want to... how do we want to do this? We could come in through over here. We could try to skirt the edge of the well a little bit more and maybe actually reach the avid horizon from the north? Let's see if that's possible. Terror is remarkably high. Yeah, discontent, no joke. The engineers are seeing the stars disappear again. We could set a watch on them. We could make a joke of it and mock this crew member until she maybe does something that we're all going to be unhappy with her having done. Or we could just get everybody a little bit drunk. Let's get everybody a little bit drunk. I think we can afford to do that for the moment. We have supplies. So I'm hoping that there's a way down here. We are getting a little close to what I might describe as the event horizon. But it's not actually like pulling or pushing on the train at all. Okay. This is bad. Yeah. Well, then we're going right back. Yeah, this must not be the Well of the Wolf, because we don't have the ability to interact with it. It's just some other big storm. It is worth noting that we're not actually gaining terror at like a rate that's much higher than we normally do. I had kind of assumed that the crew would find it terrifying, but I guess we're getting so blasé about this sort of thing at this point. And the bad news is, we still probably are going to gain a bunch of terror approaching the avid horizon and then again leaving it because it's right next to a horror. But there's sort of a limited amount that we can do about that. You near the ends of the living sky. 55%. Alright, we'll just have to be quick. I do not feel very safe sending out the scout right now, because I think we are actually kind of in a rough place. Supplies-wise, do not think we want to mess with it. Interact. The avid horizon. A wooden mooring post has been hammered into the ice before the watchers. Its gesture is a gesture toward a tradition from before the wilderness, from a sunless sea, when the condemned could beg for forgiveness on the distant shore. Let us explore the horizon's threshold. What might you find on this bleak waste? This was only ever a place to pass through, never a destination. Bitter cold rhymes every surface. A merciless wind passes without effort through even your sky suit, your flesh, your lungs. You will not stay here long. Okay. Beside it is a rough hut, made from packing crates insulated with thin rugs. A gaunt man huddles inside, leaning close to a small fire. He looks up at your approach. His expression is desolate. We could give him supplies to help him outlast the cold, but I don't think we have the supplies to spare. If you leave, you'll have to wait before something else might be available. I think we can't afford to part with supplies. There is a dock around here somewhere, right? I don't know what the hell is going on around here, and I'm terrified. We might have to... Yeah. We might have to actually send out the scout to find the place that we can dock. A senior scrivener. Ha! Good dodge, nerd. That looks like a place where maybe we can dock. Well, it looks like a piece of a dock anyway. There it is. There's the port. I'm not super happy with being out here. Okay, we made our way to the home bureau. The Market of Truth. Cults from the depths of the quiet sea beneath the home office have established a stall by the docks. Hey, cults, that's us. Here they sell their philosophies and the curious catches from the glassy waters. It is hard to tell which more offends the ministry's sensibilities. We can purchase a caged catch for 150 sovereigns. I don't remember what they sell for, but sure. The contents are suspicious, but the prices are excellent. The preacher reaches for a cage and mutters as whatever is inside it gives her a quick nip. Straight from the Untersee, she promises. A captive milliner bat? It's hard to tell. Some creature of the Neath, trapped when the avid horizon closed its doors after the Exodus. Those are definitely sellable. Alright, let's compile here a real quick port report. Let us take tea. It's cheap to do and it lowers our terror by a fair amount. So what exactly was I supposed to do for the cult again? We gotta pick some people up here, right? Or drop some people off? Or what am I doing? Take leaflets. Okay. Well, I'm here. What do I with the leaflet? I don't think we want to drop the devil off. I kind of want him with me. He's actually operating part of the train. Let us speak to the prudent observer. The prudent observer is out on the observation deck, telescope in hand. He waves at you through the fog. Coming closer, you notice his table of logbooks. Date back to 1898. Those tallies mark people coming in. He leafs through a few pages to 1902, where sheaf after sheaf is revealed to be blank, bar the dates. Wasted pages. Okay, we gained a vision of the heavens. We already did all this inquiring. Well, we could take tea a little bit more. Trying to keep our terror, like... It doesn't need to be 0, but it needs to be lower. And maybe it should be 0 for right now, because we're kind of... We're in a place where we're going to gain a lot of terror on our way out. Maybe we should just go ahead and buy it all the way down to 0. It's becoming less and less effective. It seems like 30. Oh, nope. I think it's just random. Well, this has been expensive, but potentially necessary. Okay. They'll sell us some munitions, which I'll take. Also sell us supplies, but not fuel. So we just don't have the ability to put up any flyers, to distribute any leaflets. That's all it says, right? It's just... It doesn't say take leaflets to the home office. It says take them to the Avid Horizon. But we didn't really have the ability to interact with the Avid Horizon either. Like, when we interacted and it just said the Avid Horizon at the top, we didn't have the ability to distribute leaflets. So I'm not really sure what to do here. You know what? This is maybe an okay place to stop for right now. That is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time when I have figured out whether or not hurling leaflets into that big storm will count for this quest. And we'll see you then.